All right, welcome back. Another video. So I'm making this video for my buddy Chris. Chris, what up, bro? So Chris is learning how to play, and I want to give you some tips and tricks and things to do. So number one, this might be I don't think it'll be a long video. I think I'm just going to do mostly Dark Age here. So Chris, you're playing as the Persians up here in the yellow. Now, a good comparison is blue. Blue is also playing as the Persians. All right. So the most important thing, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner here, it says idle TC. And that's how long your town center is not doing stuff. So if you look at all the other players, I'm on 1 second. The other Persian player's on 3 seconds. The Roman player's on 3 seconds. And you're on 31 seconds. So the game started, and you're building your house with 3 villagers, right? And you haven't clicked to build any villagers yet. It looks like you just clicked right now. You can see here, you just clicked. So the other thing is what you want to do is, let me go back. Back to the beginning here. So you see what this Persian player is doing here? This is the start of the game. So he sends 1 villager to build 1 house, 2 villagers to build another house, and at the same time he clicks his villagers. What you're doing is you're sending 2 villagers over here, you're sending this villager also over there. This villager could be building another house over here by themselves, because you only need 1 house to get in there. Hang on, let me change maybe the audio setting a little bit. Let me turn the game sound down, because I don't know if I'm going to do a whole lot. Okay, let's try that. I'm not going to edit this afterwards. I'm just going to post this as a video. So there's your first mistake right there, right? You got your sheep in here, and you have this villager making the sheep. You're building a 3rd house. You only need 2 houses, so building a 3rd house is a waste of villager time. But the most important thing. If you look on the top here, you have 5 villagers, and you have 3 more in the queue. So the most important thing is that you continually are building villagers. Now you can make 6 or 7 to go onto the sheep here, to go on food, and then after that you want to go to wood. Now you just found your sheep over here. You should hear like a notification when you get sheep, and that's the indication that you want to bring them in. So as soon as you get the sheep, hold right on the controller and just bring them in. And now you have 1 villager being made, and you don't have any more in the queue, and you have 8 out there. And you have all 8 on food. So once you get 7 on food, you want to go ahead and put the next one on wood.
Salam.
So let's see. This villager is going out to build on the wood line here. Now it looks like you might have, I'm not sure, you might have 1 space there. Wood, you always want to have no spaces there. So you're up to 54 seconds of idle TC. And you can see the blue Persian player is on 3 seconds of idle TC. I'm on 20, which is too much, but you know that's probably as good as like you can expect to be. Like there's always going to be a little idle TC time. Now this villager, let's see, is going for the boar. All right, good job, good job. I know this was a struggle for you. Clicking the other vills to shoot the boar. Nice job. Nice job. Nice. Okay. Now, during that little interaction, it's tough because it's like this is like where like a normal amount of idle TC time happens, because you don't necessarily want to click up to your town center. You don't want to click off your villagers, right?
Sorry.
So you have 8 villagers here. Again, you only really want to have 6 or 7. You're sending the sheep in, so that's good. You're sending villagers to the wood, so that's good. Now, if you look up here, you're on 11 villagers. And blue is on 15, all right? So blue is also Persian. Persians make villagers faster, so they're always going to be higher, right? So you always want to compare apples to apples. So our Persian player here, to be honest, his mill placement isn't ideal. He's getting wood here instead of making a lumber camp. So he's not playing, like, ideal. This is a tricky map because the wood's really far. But right now you have 2 on wood. You have 3 villagers in queue. You're up to 1:46 of idle villager time. It takes 25 seconds to build a villager. So 1:46 is like 4 villagers roughly.
Salam.
And now these villagers are not working. Okay, so you have them building a mill, which is good. You do have another boar over here that you should be able to see. So you should be taking the boar before sending the villagers onto the berries here. So you always want to make sure if you take as many boars as you have, take all the free food on the map. Boars are better than berries. Just never forget that. But you're building villagers here. You're doing good. You had a little bit of idle time early, but you fixed that, it seems. You're paying attention a little bit more. But not getting that boar is going to really set you back, though. So, like, these early Dark Age things are the most important part of the game. And now you're sending 4 onto wood, which you only need, realistically, 2, but 3 just to make things a little easier. And you're sending another one there. So what you want to do with these villagers is... What you should be doing is taking the boar and then send these villagers to the berries. Now you're building another house. Again, you only need 3 houses. You shouldn't need 4 houses to go up. You're doing that because... I'm not sure. You just want to build more houses. And also, if you're not, like, in immediate danger of being housed, like not having enough houses for your villagers, just build them with 1, you know? You don't need to rush it. And these guys are going somewhere. Where are these guys going? These guys are going to wood. So if you wanted to build farms, what you should do is take the wood here, and every time you have 60 wood, you go ahead and build farms. So we know about your idle TC time, so that's a problem, right? So we'll work on that. We know about not getting the boar. We'll work on that. Sending way too many on wood, that's a problem. If you're going to try to build farms, like right now you have 86 wood, which is not enough. You know, you can build a farm with that, right? I'm sending these in. The other thing is you didn't get these sheep. So I'm sending those in for you. But yeah, see, at this point, you're at 24 villagers, and you haven't clicked up. Your counterpart here in blue has 23 villagers, and they're on the way up. So keep that in mind. And they had those villagers, you know, earlier, right? But I mean, they're a good player. You know, that's the level that you want to get. And they have, if you look at them, they have a couple of farms. They have some villagers on berries, and then they're going to have a wood line back here. So they have a lot on wood, but they sent those to wood after they clicked up, right? Like after they already had the food to click up. So you need 400 food. A big part of that, this boar has 340 food, right? So that's really where the missing food is coming from. And you gather faster from there. So like these sheep that you're getting from is great, but you want to get the boar meat or before the sheep, right? The sheep are like after you've taken all the boars and if there's hunt available to take. So, you know, keep all that in mind. Now you're at 28 villagers and you just clicked up. So you're at 29 villagers and you just clicked up. This mining camp, you always want to have it spaced 1 away, the mining camps, because it's just less efficient. Like let's look at my mining camp. Where is it? So I'm building mine right here. So this is just 1 space away. That's what you want to do. And you'll see this guy, same thing, 1 space away. And this guy's not good. Don't look at him. All right, but you're on your way up. So let's see what you do when you go up. You have 2 villagers in queue. This is flashing because you're going to be housed. So you're actually going to need more houses. And you always, you know, try to connect these houses. I know it's not always as easy, but try to connect these houses like in a wall, right? So if you're going to build houses here, just have a wall of houses going on. And blue's trying to attack me. But see, blue's up, and they're making a stable, and they're making scouts out of it, right? So like you can see what blue's doing. That's what you should be doing. You should be doing, you know, kind of at that level. All right, over here again, same thing with the houses. Like these can all make a wall, right? Like let's see, like I have a kind of like a wall going on here. You can see blue has like a nice wall. So if I try to attack blue, I can't attack from this side. You have to attack from the other side. Just makes it a little bit better. These are my horses attacking green over here. And then see the villagers coming out of here when you're in feudal age all can go for these little straggler trees. Because usually your berries run out right kind of as you get to feudal age. So if you take these straggler trees out, you start chopping them, you can build farms around your TC. And now you're building an archery range. And now you have 10 villagers in queue. So 10 villagers in queue means that you had a lot of food. And you have a lot of food that's being used on villagers that are like in the future, right? So you have 9 queued up, which is good, right? You're not going to have idle TC time. You're always going to be building villagers. But let's say you built a stable instead of the archery range. You could be building, you know, like with 500 food, you could be building scouts. Scouts are 80 food apiece. So you could be building like 4 or 5 scouts. Kind of like I think I have, yeah. See, I have some scouts here. And these scouts are, you know, trying to find damage. You know, I'm attacking green's villagers, things like that. Same thing with blue. He has scouts. I'm walled off over here, so he can't really attack me here, but he's trying. Okay, so let's see. So you have a lot of wood, right? So you have 500 wood, and you have a lot of gold, right? But are you building any archers? No. So archers cost food and gold. So if you're going to build an archery range, you want to make food and gold, all right? But you're doing a good job villager production. I mean, you're keeping up after the first like 2 or 3 minutes of the game. You kind of are doing a good job keeping villagers going. But having 11 villagers in queue, like the thing in this game is you don't want to have a lot of, like if you look down here in the bottom right, you don't want to have a lot of wood, food, gold just lying around. You want to be using it. Because if you have it just lying around and you get attacked, well, that you have no defense, right? Because you don't have units. So if you're going to build an archery range, like this archery range hasn't been used since you built it. So there's no point in building it unless you're going to use it. And if you have the ability, you want to use it, right? So green moved his little base down here. Interesting. So you have you're doing great villager production, honestly, right? Like that's like kind of like the first step here. You know, so now the next step is just to get the earlier villager production a little bit better, because that sets you back big time. And then the, you know, like placements of this, building units, right? Like you have this archery range, you haven't built a single archer yet. So I guess the question is, why build the archery range if you're not going to have any archers? Archers take a long time to build. So got a little attack going on here. Archers take a long time to build. So you need, and archers aren't good in small numbers. Like a couple of scouts can do a lot of damage, but a couple of archers generally can't, because a couple of scouts can at least run away. A couple of archers are just going to get killed by like cavalry or something. So you're getting all your upgrades here before building anything. So typically rule of thumb is you want to have units to upgrade before upgrading them. All right? So archery range at 20 minutes, you haven't built a single archer out of it. And now blue is here, and you don't have anything to defend. And I think blue was over here. I sent some troops to try to help. And then you can see these villagers working, like they're so inefficient. They got to walk from here to there, here to there, here to there. Like if you had it on the other side here or over here, just one thing away, you'd be much better. And then the skirmisher, I think that was just you're kind of panicking, not knowing what to build. But skirmishers are not good against scouts. You're much better off building archers. And also, look at this food. All right, pause. So you have 1,000 wood and 900 gold. Okay? This wood doesn't do you good. All right? Wood is good, doesn't do you good. Okay? You need to turn that wood into something else. So that wood and the gold needs to be either archers. So you could build a third archery. You could build a second archery range and just make archers over and over again. If you started making archers when you first build this, you would have 10 archers at least, right? And then this guy comes in with, 3 scouts and you just kill him. He's done. He's dead. He's immediately dead, and then you go attack. So that's like, you're doing really good building villagers. You've been building villagers. You're at 46. he's at 46, right? So he's doing a bad job building villagers, actually, because he's focusing on other stuff, which is going to happen. You know, this is a tough game. So you're not building the archers that you need to make, okay? But imagine you had 10 archers out here. He comes and attacks you, you're done. And then you go and you attack him, right? So this is a lot of resources that you're not using, okay? And you should be. Let's go. And that boar is sitting around there. The boar sitting there at like this point in the game, just a reminder. Like if I attack someone, and I say that they have a boar still. It's like you just know that they're a noob, basically, right? And archers are skirmishers are good against archers. Archers are good against pretty much everything, except for skirmishers. And like siege, like they're not gonna be good against a ram or good against a mangonel. But even like a mangonel or something, like they can kill a mangonel. And these villagers are getting attacked. Let's see how you react here. So far you haven't reacted yet. So these villagers are running away on their own because they're getting attacked. And this guy's killing them. So that's 2 dead, 3 dead. 4 dead, 5 dead. This guy's feasting over here. 6 dead. 7, 8, 9 dead. So he has killed 9 villagers. And you sent your army over there, but you really need to send these villagers back home when they're getting attacked like that. So just double click on one of them. Just pick one, double click it, and then just click back towards your town center is what you want to do when that happens. Because all the extra villagers, like you were actually ahead of blue, and now you're 10 villagers behind, right? And meanwhile, I'm fighting over here with blue. So I mean, you're smart. You have some some military here able to defend. You know he's attacking your wood line. Something else to do here, if you're so you're actually in Castle Age right now. So immediately when you get to Castle Age, you want to build a town center. Like you might as well build it like right here. You have gold, you have wood that you're already taking. Your villagers are already here, easy to build. So that's something to think about. But as soon as you get to Castle Age, what you want to do is build town centers, right? At least a second town center. So same thing with this mining camp. You want to have that spaced one away. Also, if you have the material for it, if you look down here, you have 760 wood and 200 stone. You could build 2 town centers with that right now, okay? And then, like, your military isn't as good, but you have 3 town centers making villagers instead of just 1. Because honestly, you're doing really good. Like your villager production, like you always have a bunch in queue. Like you're focusing on making villagers. You're doing good. So if you're going to focus on that, that's great. You can do that. But you need to have more than 1 building making them. Because if you have 3 and you have 9 queued up, well, that's 3 in each one coming out, right? So you're making 3 times as many. This guy, he only has 1 town center. He's building a second one. When you got to Castle Age, you just built 2 more town centers immediately because you had the resources, right? Build one over here on this gold and this wood. Build one over here on this gold and this wood, or wherever you think is a good spot. And then maybe on this stone if you want to take stone, and then you're good. Then you have 3 town centers. You're making 3 times as many villagers as your opponent here. Like green only has 1 town center. Blue has 2. I have 2. If you have 3 and you're making all these villagers. So I'll tell you why I'm making camels here, because he's Persians, right? So he's making cavalry. If you look here, so this is the Persians tech tree. So everything, their villagers work faster here, right? And they end up making stable units very often, right? Like Persians just have very good stable units. They have elephants, knights, camels. They have good stable units, right? But if you look at my tech tree, my stable units are cheaper, okay? So because my stable units are cheaper, I can make more of them, with the same economy. So he's making camels to defend against. I was making knights before, so now I'm going full camels because camels beat camels, and I make them cheaper. I can make more of them. Right? That's my mentality. That's what I'm thinking about. So that's why I'm making camels, and I'm also mixing in a few knights here. But now the Persians. So if you look at their tech tree here, so they have Parthian tactics in Castle Age. Parthian tactics is for cav archers, right? So that's good. It gives them extra shield, I think, like extra armor. So that's good. And then, that's your main bonus, okay? So you can go cav archers. I think we were talking about going cav archers. And you have archers in queue. But the thing is, you have archers in queue, but what you really want to do, so now you're making cav archers, is you want to upgrade those to crossbow. But, your biggest mistake at this point in the game is just not having more production buildings. More town centers, more archery ranges, right? That's, like, the big thing. Because your economy actually, isn't bad. Like, you're doing the right thing. Over here, you want to replenish this lumber camp. You want to put it closer. But realistically, you just want to put a town center instead. That's how you really want to do it. So, like, these archers are only archers, and if they're a crossbow, they do a lot more damage, they shoot faster, like, things like that. They have better upgrades. So, if you're making a unit in Feudal Age, and you still have those units, and you want to keep making them, you definitely want to upgrade them. I want to look at your town center idle time. So if you look at your idle time for your town center, it's actually really good. You're actually only at 5 minutes. And let's say blue, he's only at 6 minutes, but now he has 3 town centers, right? So he has 3 town centers making villagers. You're just adding another one right now. Also, this town center, you always want to have it, like, right on a resource. So, like, instead of being, like, near it, you want to have it right on it. And also build it with, like, 10 villagers. Like, 1 villager making a town center is not good. But, honestly, like, your idle TC is pretty darn good. You're still making villagers. The only problem is you only have 1 town center. So I think, like, the biggest thing you can do here is early on, the idle villagers, make sure, you're building the house with 1, a house with 2. You're taking these straggler trees with the ones coming out in Feudal Age, like things like that. Have this, spaced 1 away. Have this spaced 1 away. The mill in the lumber camp can be right on the resource. And then when you get to Castle Age, which you did a good job, like getting your villagers out. When you get to Castle Age, get these town centers up right away. And same thing with the archery range. Having just 1 is just not going to be enough. And also, don't build it unless you're going to use it. You're better off building farms. You could build, 3 farms. More than that, you could build 4 farms for 1 archery range. So if you're not going to use the archery range, don't build it. Just build farms, right? Just let's kind of like have that as a rule of thumb. Like, don't build it unless you're going to use it. And this is just camel versus camel. Camel, no kill camel. But you got the town center here. You have... So you see how these villagers are, like, kind of inefficient, right? They got to walk from here to here. They got to walk all the way from this wood line to this lumber camp and back. If you had this, this is even closer. I don't even know why they're over here. Oh, because you never moved them. If you had them over here, just put a lumber camp on this side if you want to build it farther away. Or, you're kind of splitting the difference between the wood and the gold. Build it right on one of them and then build, like, the mining camp or the lumber camp on the other one. That's a better way to go about it. And then also, if you used all of these, let's say, to build that town center, they would all just start working around it. They wouldn't be, like, far away. But Cav Archer's not a bad unit. Let me look at your resources here. So, yeah, you have an insane amount of food and gold, right? There's no reason to have that much food and gold. You have 2,000 food and almost 2,000 gold. There's just no reason to have that much. I mean, as I said, I have 2,500 gold, but that's a mistake on my part, you know? To have that much food and gold, so you say, okay, you want to balance it a little bit better, right? So maybe have, less on food, or more importantly, spend your resources, right? You have 17 on gold, 11 on food, and 12 on wood. Maybe you want to have, 10 on gold and have 19 on wood, and then have just all farms coming out, right? So every time you're building like a new villager comes out, you're building a farm with them. These straggler trees definitely want to take too. And you got a nice defensive castle going up. Big takeaway, spend your resources. Don't build something and not use it, like the archery range. Multiple production buildings. Get town centers up, as early as possible. Like right now, because you weren't really being attacked so much, like you could have had 5 town centers, right? For one villager, you need 6 farms to maintain production. So if you have a town center with 6 farms around it, you can build a villager out of it, right? If you want to build also your cav archers, don't use food at all. So all you need is one town center with 6 farms around it. You could have one here. You could have this town center with 6 farms around it. You could build one back here with 6 farms around it. And then each one will always maintain villager production. And then you add more so that you can, upgrade and do things like that. So then you have 8 farms around each one, 10 farms around each one, and so on and so on. But you see, these cav archers, they're actually, they can kill almost any unit. Like, these knights are running away. Look, you're killing these knights with these cav archers. Also, so you see, green just got ballistics. Ballistics comes out of the university. You can get it in, I think, in Castle Age you can get ballistics. So, ballistics you want to get, where is it? Out of the university. Doesn't show it here. So this is ballistics right here, right? So what it does is all of your archers will just hit all their shots, basically. So if a target is running away from you or moving side to side, you'll hit the shot. You'll aim it right. That you definitely want to get if you're making archers. But that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is to get better is just to make more. But you see how powerful? These are good units. These are really good units. Imagine you had those earlier and you were able to attack with them. That would make a big difference. All right, I know how the rest of this game goes. We get called into Fortnite and we quit. But they would have won anyway though, because green had this massive base. He was going full scorpions and blue was tough. But yeah, those just take those takeaways that I talked about though, will make a big difference. When you get to Castle Age. All right, number 1, build a house with 1 villager. Get your Dark Age right, okay? Just build the houses. Before building the houses, you want to click on your town center and start building villagers. That's the most important thing. Then build the houses, efficiently. You don't have to build too many. Little stuff putting them in touching each other to make a wall. That'll come, right? That'll be just one part of your brain that frees up once you get the rest of it. Don't even worry about that too much. And when you build an archer range, build archers. Don't or skirmishers. Build something out of it. Don't just build it just to have it, right? When you have the resources to build town centers or production buildings, build it. You want to have. It's not like life where you want to save up resources. It's you want to spend every resource you have. Okay, so keep those little tips in mind. Keep playing. You're getting better and better and better. You the man. Catch you later, homie. See ya.